agenda with amendments, additions, corrections, deletions. Okay, do you have any?
So,
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, anybody public comment? Okay. The presentations, nutrition group.
Hi everyone, thank you for having me tonight to discuss the budget for the next school year for the food service department. Before we get started, I am, a little loud there, going to have Jen talk about a few highlights from this school year so far, some of the great action station, from the work events and other program promotions we do. So Jen, I'll let you start.
All right, you want the whole year?
You know, everything.
So we'll start January. We had a SpongeBob event where we gave away some puzzles and some SpongeBob stuffies. We had a Taste the Rainbow event where we had a nutrition education for March, for National Nutrition Month. The kids got to learn what that color did for a healthy body. We featured a certain color every day, and they got a prize every time they came through with lunch in that color. For Easter, we did an Easter carving on the line, so we carved the turkeys. And we also, in February, there's pictures of Cinco de Mayo there, where we had a pancake station, and we made all the pancakes out here. And then we had a stir fry station out in the cafeteria where we cooked all the fresh vegetables, zucchini, red pepper, broccoli, with some garlic and ginger and soy sauce. And they were able to make a chicken and rice bowl with the stir fry vegetables in the cafeteria. In the beginning of this month, we did a Super Mario event to celebrate the new movie that came out the beginning of the month. The staff dressed up like Mario characters there. I was in a Mario costume that looked ridiculous, but the kids really liked it. We gave away 4 Moonlight Drive-In movie tickets so that they were $20 each. Everyone got a Super Mario tattoo that came through the lunch line, and then we had 4 lucky winners that we did a raffle ticket for. And everyone also got a Rice Krispie treat that was called a question mark block. So if anyone knows Super Mario, you know, they have the question mark blocks that they hit and you don't know what's going to come out. That was their sweet treat in lunch that day. We put little question marks on that. Today at the high school, we did a French toast station. So we cooked Texas toast out here. It was also a farm to fork event. So we got maple syrup from Yaney's in Marionville. We had a gallon of fresh maple syrup from there, so we did a nice farm to fork event. It was definitely crazy. We ran out of eggs, so I learned lots of things. It was the first time we did this event here, so I will need more egg next year, maybe less bread, more griddles going, but the kids really seemed to like that. Next week, we have a sushi event where corporate chef Jason Snavely and Nathan Manfredo is coming to roll sushi. So we have all the ingredients here for that. It will be an a la carte item, and kids will also be able to, we'll have a bunch pre-rolled, but then the students will be able to come. They'll let them roll sushi if they want to try to do that during lunch next Wednesday. And then in May, we're going to celebrate Cinco de Mayo with a Take Nutrition Global. We'll have a table about Mexico out, plus we'll have stir fry onions and peppers out here and do chicken fajitas in the cafeteria for lunch. Also, towards the end of the year, we are going to do a milkshake bar again. I don't have that specific date, but I do have a chocolate milkshake waiting for you. And I will have milkshake bar, and I want to do that all before the seniors' last day, along with cookouts at both the high school and the elementary school.
Thanks, Jen. Jen gets to talk about all the fun stuff. Other farm to fork events we had this year, we had a baked potato bar. Of course, many of you probably remember the PA Smash Burger event we had out in the field. We had a beautiful day. We love bringing the local stuff, and that's something we've been trying to do more this year. All right, so we're going to talk about participation a little bit before we get into the budget. Right now, we're sitting about 37% of our students are participating with an average of $273 in a la carte sales every day. Just some other things we like to focus on. Of course, participation, we're always trying to get that increase. So we talk with the kids, we have gap meetings where the students have the opportunity to come to us, tell us what they like, what they dislike, and then we can reevaluate our menus and change them to get more of what the students want to see. And people, we love what we do. I love what I do. Jen loves what she does. And we're bringing in those corporate chefs just to have more support here. With that sushi bar, we also have local directors from other schools, the Keystone directors coming over to help roll that sushi as well. And we're always working to train our team just to kind of sharpen out their skills. We have hourly training throughout the year, and then once a year we have a big training for them in the summer. And then we're continually assessing our equipment in the kitchens just to make sure our kitchens are in good health, make sure our ovens are in good shape. If we need new equipment, try to let the district know so we can make a plan. All right, we're moving into that budget now. Guys, I believe how this little budget comparison just compares the budget from last year, this current year, to next school year. We'll start in the revenue. When I built this budget, I look at our current participation. I also look at current reimbursement rates. So that's our federal and our state reimbursement rates we get.
We have a copy of that in here.
Yeah, it's in there black and white though.
Yep, and we're in the top section right now with the revenue.
Oh, that's, okay.
Should be on the right side.
In one sentence.
Yeah, no problem. And I think that's actually different than what we're looking at. It should look like this is black and white. They have one through there, right there. There you go. Sorry about that. All right, so we're looking at that top portion of revenue. When I built this budget, I based it off of our current participation, reimbursement rates. Those are the federal and the state reimbursement rates that they currently are. Our sponsor contract, that's a contract we have with the pre-K program across the street where we sell them meals every day. And then also our revenue from all of our a la carte stuff. So the sushi event we're doing, and then all the items we sell in this room are all additional income.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So 37% of kids taking breakfast, and what was the percentage for lunch?
69.
If it was 100 and 100, would that reimbursement be, that'd be higher?
Much higher, yes.
So it's tied to kids, we need kids to, eat, so.
And that's, breakfast, if we can get more kids to eat breakfast, that's our biggest thing for our buck, is if we can get more kids to eat breakfast, participate in that, we get a lot of reimbursements right now, because the state is picking up the additional cost of that.
Maybe you know this, but when will the whole milk hit the schools?
I believe there's whole milk in the kitchens now, right, Jen? Have you been bringing the
We
whole
have
milk?
not brought it in yet.
No.
We have it ordered for next week.
Next week?
Next week?
Yes, next week, yep. So, we can let you know how that goes too, next month we can let you know how the milk goes over, so I think that would make a big difference.
Is there 2% too, or what, just the home, what are we having?
We could bring 2% in too, we were gonna stick with whole milk
Okay.
and like a low fat option, so it was either whole milk or low fat, so we didn't have like 6, 7, sorry.
No
Like a kid, choices in the milk coolers.
Any chocolate, no?
We still offer the fat free, and the flavors have to be fat free. And just the tidbit, the whole milk can only be available at lunch, it's not allowed at breakfast still.
I was talking to somebody from another district the other day, and he told me half the milk was in the garbage can. Because they didn't like, the kids didn't like the watered down milk.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, that's why,
I've seen that a lot, yeah, or they end up on the share table because they don't want it.
yeah.
Yeah, so we will.
Why would it be allowed breakfast? Why would it not be allowed breakfast?
That's how when it was passed, it was only passed for lunch and not for breakfast. I'm not sure the reasoning behind that, but that's how it was passed. So.
Legislators, Dave, that's why.
Hopefully in the
More
future
people
we'll
that
see.
drink milk at breakfast than we are at lunch.
All right, any more questions for revenue? All right, so we'll move on to expenses. Oh, just real quick, total revenue is $536,000, just to put that out there. Expenses, food costs, as we all know, is increasing everywhere. You see it in the grocery store, and we have seen it as well. When I build the budget, I base it on what we are projected to spend this year, and then I'm adding 5% increase for next year's food cost budget. That's from our vendors, so our vendors kind of track and see what they're gonna expect food costs to go up. Hopefully it doesn't go up that much, but that's what I budget for. Same with paper and cleaning, we even see a larger increase in this area. So again, I base it off of what we're currently projected out for the year, and then we are expecting 7% increase in that area. Other costs that are on the little budget form here include staff training, special programs, uniforms, small orders or spoodles, all our serving tools, pizza pans, and that type of thing. Of course, administration and management fees and our labor is all included in this whole expense category. It is broken down there line by line for you guys so you can see everything. And then, expenses, we're looking at $556,000. So our bottom line, we're looking at a loss of $20,000. Now please keep in mind, this is worst case scenario. This is if we see that full impact of food and paper cost increase. Some things to keep in mind, the reimbursement rates, when I build off of this year's reimbursement rates. So going into next year, we can expect typically an increase in reimbursement rates. So that would be additional revenue that would help offset this. Also, we get USDA foods from the government each year. We are only allowed to budget for a portion of that. We actually get probably around, I think 12,000 more allotted to us that we can bring in. So again, that's offsetting your food costs built into this budget. Ask Jen about her stockroom full of free applesauce. We bring in any little bit of USD foods that we can bring in, and if other districts say they don't want it, they say refuse it, there's a good refusal list. Jen's checking that weekly, bringing in stuff so we can have more free foods that are, as long as our students will eat them. Yeah, and this is continuing the CEP program, so everybody's still getting that free breakfast and lunch. Again, worst case scenario, we don't expect it to actually be this bad, but I have to give you worst case scenario. So, do we have any questions about this? Yes.
I have one for us.
Okay.
At the moment, prior to this time right now, and going forward, do you know, have been, or do you know, using any of this science fiction meat? We're creating our own
We are not
protein.
using that meat. We've had discussions about that, and we are not going that direction to use any of the.
Now, you may not have did this, but at one time they had a meat, they were using programs like this called slime, pink slime. It was basically rotten meat out of the butcher shops, that they would put all kinds of formaldehyde, all kinds of stuff in to kill the bacteria, and then they paint it, make it pink. And the government was shipping this out into the food you get for free. No, they should have paid them, but should have been free. Nothing like that you know.
Not that I know, but I will say we are part of a PAE program. So right now we actually, like our beef, we bring that in fresh from the local farm in Clarion. I believe it's Frazier's. The guy from the family's really nice. He delivers the meat to all of our beef for like tacos, the smash burgers. What else do you guys do? Do you do meatloaf or anything else, or mainly tacos? Kids love tacos.
Well, not really
Spaghetti.
turkeys, the chicken.
Yeah. It's all through most of that's government, where we process it out. I've never heard of it being.
Well, the one big one to push it is chicken, it's easy to make.
I'm unaware of
And
any of that.
if you look
company.
at it, it looks like chicken. It don't taste like chicken, it looks like chicken. But, I'd like you to tell me if that is possibly sneaking through and whether you have to tell us who you're using. Because I don't think we should be using, I don't know about the rest of the board, but.
Can
I
you
don't
look
want-
into
I don't
that
like
just
to
to
Oh,
see?
I can definitely
And
look into it,
I don't
make
want
sure, and I would be
my kid
very
eating
open.
something off printer.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
So
So
you
I
look
can,
into it, you let me know, and I'll share it with the board, my weekly update.
Yep.
If she can get it to me tomorrow or something,
Yeah.
I'll email you guys, yep.
I know you're not ready for this
Yeah.
tonight.
but yeah, I can definitely.
It's easy for me to tell you right now.
Yeah, okay, that's fine with me. All right, any other questions? All right, and invite everyone to join our sushi bar next week, if we help our a la carte sales, and we want to see your faces out in the cafeteria. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Slide it back.
Thank you for the treat.
Yes, Jen made you something. Well, your wife's away. I have to make sure you're fed.
B 26-27 annual budget draft number 1.
So if you guys look, we have a draft one budget that we're going to present here in a few minutes, or right now. In May, we'd come back again, and then there has to be a period in between that, and then the final budget would be approved, has to be approved by the end of June. So Angela has worked very hard on this with Davey's help. Obviously I've been part of that, and we believe that we're presenting a a strong budget that reflects where we need to be. And you'll see that it is somewhat in the red, but like Sarah said, as a result of, certainly the increase of what things cost us, healthcare, salaries, things like that, but it is just, things are more expensive, so.
Okay, I want to hit on a couple items first off. You'll remember the last meeting I talked about revenues and salaries and benefits that I had provided you with. There's just been a couple changes to those sections. The first one being as far as our state revenues for the FICA tax subsidy and the retirement subsidy. Those both have gone up. And then the other significant change would be on the second page under the 200 section in medical insurance. I originally had that budgeted at 12%. Brian, myself, just attended the consortium meeting yesterday, and they told us our rates would actually be 8.84. So that actually decreased and gave us a savings of $57,621. All of that together has given us a total revenue of $220,394, which is up by 1.3% of last year. Does anybody have any questions on our revenues?
What was that increase,
1.3%.
1.3?
Now,
On
you're
the
saying,
first page.
you're saying we have savings in health insurance, not actually savings in health insurance. It was a savings in what you had budgeted.
Right, a savings in what I had budgeted. I
Okay.
originally budgeted at 12%, and then it actually came in to be 8.84, so that number has decreased.
Right. But it's still
Right.
8.74% increase over what we were paying last year.
Mhm.
Can I ask a question on that 1.3% increase in revenue?
Mhm.
Is that period, 1.3 for everything, or is
For all
that
the
above,
revenues.
or is that above what you estimated?
That is compared to last year, I do believe. Yeah, because if you look, there would be a favorable or unfavorable variance, so that would use the two. Like last year's revenues were budgeted at $17,163,605. This year it came in at $17,383,999, which gave a favorable variance of $220,394. Any other questions before I move on? Okay, so I just want to talk now about some expenditures that are worth noting. So page 2, and this also going on to page 2 and 3, at the bottom section of the 300 section, you'll see the IU services. There has been an increase amount to this. This is based upon their projections from the IU that they provided us, and also we're having some shift in students from New Story that are going to be attending IU classrooms starting next year. So this has actually gone up by $139,449 compared to last year. And then right underneath that, you'll see on page 3 as well, like right under the IU partial program, there's New Story and Pyramid. This has also changed. There's been a projected decrease actually from last year, if you total all of those, of $35,402. This is also due from a number of students that are actually going to be leaving New Story and attending IU classrooms. Does anybody have any questions?
IU goes up and New Story goes down. New Story costs us probably twice as much. So a kid at New Story, just generally speaking, maybe $70,000 per kid. At the IU, generally, it might be $30,000, $35,000, somewhere in there. So it's good to see that go up and New Story come down. That's certainly a savings, and we can send kids there. And John works hard to make sure that the students that we have various places are at an appropriate placement. So if they could be serviced somewhere else, we look at changing that, But it's quite expensive no matter what, but these students require that, level.
We were also able to find savings in transportation, instead of taking 2 vehicles to Du Bois, now we're only gonna take 1 next year.
Yeah.
That's also what I was going to talk about
Sorry.
next. That's okay.
We've worked on this all together, so.
Yeah, we have, many times over. Does anybody have any other questions on purchase services under 300s? Okay, so moving on, I'm not gonna touch on anything in the 400s, but if you'll turn to page 4 in the 500 section, I want to talk about transportation. It's right at the top. You'll see that our transportation costs have gone up as far as busing and things like that go. But as Davey had also said, our van transportation, you'll see, is actually down, and that is because we're gonna only need one less van due to students transferring from New Story to the IU. So there's an increase in transportation roughly of $45,613, which is due to the new contract negotiations. I touched on the vans, but this is kind of a little bit of a wash in a way, because also you'll see that our non-public transportation has gone up significantly. And this is also accounting for students in like the Amish communities or other districts where we have to provide transportation to children. Does anybody have any questions on that?
So the new contract will increase our transportation budget of 45,000?
Roughly, 45,613.
And what part of that will we get back in?
Roughly 75%, and that counts for the age of buses, the number of children on a bus. They go for 72 children that can be fit on a bus. So we want to try to hit that number every time.
But there's variables that go into that, Dave. That's ideal
Right.
situation with us loading those buses and
Right.
getting that back. You know what I mean?
So we try to hit as high as we can possibly get back. So we try to say roughly 75%.
And that's 1 year lagging, correct? That lags 1 year.
Right.
So.
Okay. So any more questions on transportation? All right. And the other item I want to talk about is everybody's favorite, cyber. So this is also on page 4. It's a little bit under the 500 section, about midway down the page. It says tuition charter, cyber, regular education, and that's for regular education, high school, elementary, and special ed, high school and elementary. There's actually been a projected decrease of roughly 60,000, which is due to cyber reform and projected number of students for next year. Our Rockets has also decreased a little over 19,000. This is also based upon projections of students for next year. Our AP department keeps a very good spreadsheet that she gets these numbers from. I've went over them with her several times. Right below the tuition for Rockets, you'll see the tuition for the Career Center. That has gone up, which is based upon the projections that they provided us with. And there's more students that would like to enroll next year, so that cost has gone up.
Can I say something there, too?
Absolutely.
The Career Center typically projects a little bit higher than what we have there. I think the projection was 30.
I have it in
It
my
was like
office.
34, and that number, we haven't had that many kids there, but we have increased some, we're in the 20s, you know? So they project that to make sure that we're covering that. If we don't have those students go, they reconcile that, we get that money back at the end of the year. I wanna say
It's,
$70,000, you know, roughly, we have had last year, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah. So, I mean, they do that, and it's, you know, so it goes to the mitigate, it does come back. They reconcile that to be exact, so.
What's the, is there a certain amount of kids that, like, is it, that can, from our school that can go there?
No, we could send as many as wanna go. Red Bank is the biggest, is it the biggest?
So
Red Bank?
we moved this year to the afternoon, and that opened up a lot of space because Red Bank goes in the morning, and they take a lot of kids. And I believe Keystone's the other one that goes in the morning. I think they take a lot of kids. We don't see as many kids going as some of those schools because we have a lot of our own shops where kids can get a lot of those skills that they get at the Career Center. So we keep more of our own kids, I think, because of that. They still have that opportunity to learn. Not taking anything away from the Career Center, they do great things over there, so.
Yeah, our shops are popular here.
Does anybody have any questions on the purchase services under the 500s? Or other purchase services under the 500s? Okay, and the last item that I wanted to talk about was the capital reserve, which would be on page 8 at the bottom under the 900 section. You'll see that we have listed $170,000 that we would wish to transfer from the general fund to the capital reserve for next year.
Now, if you look at the back page, it talks about the deficit,
Deficit.
which is 76,108. Obviously, if we didn't transfer 170,000 in there, we would have more than a balanced budget. We're trying to ensure that we're getting a good amount in there in case, you know, for the things that we need to cover, you know. As an example, this light switch didn't work a minute ago, so now I had to plug in it. So that's why you see that amount going in. We could balance this budget, but we wouldn't be making that size transfer into capital reserves, you know, so.
Does anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, I do.
Yes,
On, under the 800s,
Uh-huh.
it says taxes, county, township.
Yes.
Why are we paying?
We have a piece of property that Brian and I tried to get the tax exempt off of. We went to a hearing last year, and I believe it's a section across the road, and they told us since we don't do any school-based activity upon that property, we cannot have it be exempt.
We'll try fighting it again. Each year we can do that, you know, and we'll try to refine the argument to make it better, but I don't think we should be paying it.
I know.
They felt that we should. They did reduce.
Yeah, they did. We were actually, last year, we were paying some additional taxes on properties up at where the
Baseball field is.
baseball field is, and they did exempt that because we use that for school, obviously.
We've been paying this for years, but us going and trying to fight it did get part of that taken away.
Where's the property at?
Across the street, she's
Where
talking
the
across the
cemetery-
road with
by the
some.
cemetery.
Behind the cemetery and
Money
Asbury.
when we did that.
But
It goes
so-
behind the church too.
Behind the cemetery.
Yep, goes behind the church and on the left down through the. to the-
Why don't we mow that field and let them go over and practice soccer and get it exempt?
We could do something
We put the-
school-based.
We
if you
could put
wanted.
something, we could put something over, but then we're transferring kids across 324.
That's also kind of dangerous.
Well, I
so-
mean,
Yeah.
whether you use it or not, it's a mow the field before you get out of that.
Something.
Well,
We
we
could
can think about
brainstorm,
that.
I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll brainstorm something.
We could put a shed over there and have it as our superintendent's
Storage.
office.
Yeah, So obviously, if there's no questions now, but something comes up after the meeting, you call in, talk to us, we'll be glad to work anything. And this will be more refined next month. You know, we will continue to look at what did we spend this year to reflect, you know, what we need to do here.
Does anybody have any other?
Thank you.
Nice job.
Okay, number 7, committee reports, student representative.
We don't have a report from the
Okay.
committee.
Riverview Intermediate 6. I guess that was Julie, and then since Julie resigned, we're gonna need somebody, if anybody's interested. Somebody to think about it if you don't know right now. So. Okay. Yeah, okay. C, the Career Center representatives.
I'll give the report this time. We did hire an automotive technology instructor at step 3 and regular van. We did have a new allied health instructor that just started, and she resigned right away so it's kind of funny. Her husband didn't know that she was even working there as an aide. So it was, so they're going to their second and third people they interviewed. So it was, we just hired her, and 2 days later she resigned. So we don't know what happened, but that's kind of crazy. We did receive a $105,000 grant, supplemental. 60,000 will be put toward diesel automotive equipment. 26,000 toward welding equipment, and 5,200 for torches. The health insurance went up for next year's plan to go up 10.2%, and 20% for special education costs, which is over from what it was before. We had a problem with the life insurance for the staff. It was canceled in January and didn't know it. They did this to some other districts, and they got back with the insurance company, and I think we're back on, but we're not hoping to pay for the months that we're getting it. We didn't know, they just canceled. They just decided to cancel. They did it to quite a few other districts. So it's out of, I think, Massachusetts. So that's about it. And Rob Sintoman has started as the new director. So, okay.
Okay, thank you.
I wasn't able to attend last month, so thank you, Gary.
Okay, legislative representative,
Yeah, no, there was a lot that came in at the end of the month. I guess they decided to work. The representatives, I'll try to get through this real quickly. There is a House bill for parental notification of bullying. The legislation would require the schools notify parents or legal guardians when their child is found after an investigation to be the victim or perpetrator of bullying.
Could I say one thing there, Gary? We don't need legislation to do that. We do that every single time.
Right, but I'm just saying,
So, I
this
mean,
is,
it's just-
I'm just giving you what's going on.
Yeah, I'm just saying that state is
Right.
crazy with some of those things.
Well, PSBA is neutral on this,
Yeah.
so you know. Keystone exam alternative, they're looking at House Bill 1752 about using the ACT or SAT as an alternative to the Keystone or PSSA exams. So that's, they're looking into that. School counselor would require schools to establish a comprehensive counseling services through plans developed and implemented by certified counselors, addressing academics, career readiness, social emotional learning, and intervention for at-risk students. PSBA opposes this bill. Health services and school nursing, the state is reducing the ratio, which was one nurse for every, or increased it. Let's see here, wait, I got this ratio, yeah, from 1 to 1,500 students to 1 to 750 students. And they are going to increase the average daily membership from $9.70 to $12.61. Okay, and I have a little bit more. They want us to be, the fly, there's a bill to fly the POW MIA flags along with the American and Pennsylvania flags. And I think the last one, I think that's good. There is one other bill and that we need to watch that passed by 3 votes called the Fairness Act. It's House Bill 300, where it require us to let transgender students and the others to be identified by the pronouns they want and to use the bathroom of their choice. Representative Ken Yada from Philadelphia pushed that bill and it passed 102 to 99. We're hoping the Senate, we will vote it down, which they did before. We discussed that very thoroughly at the meeting I was at last night, so we need to, you need to call our, of course, our state senator is against it, so, Mr. Hutchinson, so. And that's.
Can I say something about the flag? Our flagpole is actually lower than it's supposed to be. The one, we have one at the elementary school. It's supposed to be higher, but does anybody remember, it was like 20 feet than the closest building. So we're looking at that, thinking about that. We would like to do something at some point to get it higher. And one of the things we're thinking about is the CL sign in front of the high school, what's holding it up, the brickwork and stuff, is crumbling. So we had talked about looking at, saving the CL. Davey is one of the ones that welded that sign, and he does not feel strongly about it being on the crumbling stonework. And I say that because, we think we could do something there with like stamped concrete, maybe some concrete seating for kids, like a nice circular thing, and a flagpole that is the height it's supposed to be over here, So that's just something we're thinking about.
Picture it being like a nice spot, like for prom or graduation, people can stop and get a real nice picture in front of.
So we might have to add now a 3rd pole. So we'll wait and see.
Yeah. Well, right now we only have one, and you probably could fly.
No, you have to, don't we
We
fly?
only have
PA?
one over there, that's it, yeah.
No, so, and I found out just the other day that the American flag has to be to the left of the Pennsylvania flag and what other flag.
And I would guess we could get some of this or a lot of that donated, so as we look at that stuff. But I just want to throw that out because it's something we've been thinking about as an admin team, so.
I'm sure Representative Dashline could get us the PA flag and any other flags.
one that's flown over the White House, that's common to do for a school day, you know? It's the poles that matter, you know, it's supposed to be different than what we have.
What is the height supposed to be?
It's supposed to be, I think, I mean, we'll have to look it up for you, somebody ChatGPT that, but, I think it was 20 feet higher than the closest building. It didn't, so it depends on how tall the building. Of course, if it's by a skyscraper, there is a height that, you know, you have to go past. You don't have to have a 3,000-foot one, you know what I mean?
Put it on a balloon.
Yeah.
Oh, there is one of, it's not legislate, but it is with the school. I last night spoke with the AC Valley school board member and asked them about their co-op with the union for junior high sports, which will be no more after this year. And he said, we're hoping to have enough kids, at least for track. They know, he said, we will not have enough kids for softball. And another district school board member told me they're thinking of dropping their junior high programs too. So,
That'd be terrible for the young kids.
Yeah, I mean, I love the sports for kids, so I mean, that's a,
but I'm just, you know, because I asked him about that, he says, yeah, we're hoping to have enough of the track.
and our junior high program is very popular right now. So, and then that'll lead into our high school programs and, you know what I mean, so.
Yeah, our junior high track number, we talked about last board meeting, exploded from like 17 to 50. Junior high baseball is in the like 20 range, I believe, and our junior high softball, I think, is at 13. So I think those are growing pretty nicely now. But, you know, they're really popular and the kids enjoy them. So
What the flags you want?
yeah, the flag said, I lost it. It's based on the height of the building, 1.5 to 2 times the height of the building's main roof line.
Main roof line.
Yes.
So it's just something you'll see, like, that's something we've been thinking about. Like, we think maybe the kids could learn the stamping the concrete and, you know, doing things like that, but it would change the way it looks right there from what we're used to. But if you go out today and look, you'll see the brickwork is literally crumbling off of it, you know, so. And it looks like it used to have 2 wooden,
It
Before
used to be a sign out there.
It used to be like a light up, like put in this board, the letters. Yeah. I remember we welded that in Phil Pizzuto's welding shop class and put it in there when that sign was no good anymore.
yeah. And in case anybody was wondering, Davey and I competed at welding one day and he owned me. So.
I was taught well by
I mean, you
Mr.
literally-
Pizzuti and Mr. Sherman taught me well. so.
Mine did not look good. All right, we good?
Good?
Yeah.
Okay. Curriculum and instruction,
Bobby, is Gary curriculum instruction now with us?
I think.
I feel like you,
What?
are you curriculum instruction rep with us now?
No.
Oh, okay.
We never
Well,
published.
so that'll be one we need to when somebody's ready. Right now, I don't have anything to report. There's nothing new that we're looking at or anything like that, but.
Yeah, you're the man.
When am I supposed to do it all?
You were a teacher before. You could do that.
Yeah, but listen, we've been pushing me, I need to.
Okay.
Nothing to report.
All right, the CLAEA representative.
Good evening. Thanks for welcoming our report. So Mel Aaron shared something very good for him with me. He was named the Clarion VFW's 2026 Educator of the Year for Education and Patriotism, Civil Responsibility, and American Culture. Mr. Aaron was also named the PA Wing Group 6 Aerospace Officer of the Year in recognition of outstanding achievement and service to the Pennsylvania Wing and Civil Air Patrol. Selection was made from all Civil Air Patrol aerospace teachers from Erie to Allegheny County. So congratulations to Mr. Aaron. Congratulations are in order for the CL Senior Student Council members. As part of the American Red Cross High School Scholarship Program, we have been awarded one $500 scholarship for our collection of 31 pints of blood on February 12th. This is a wonderful accomplishment. At a later date, the recipient will be chosen from the applications they received. And on March 26th, the 5th graders participated in the WQED Design Lives Here Challenge at Penn West Clarion, joining over 300 students from the intermediate unit. And since January, students have been working to invent or improve products using the engineering design process. Their journey included mentorship from Corey Neiswanger, an engineer at Komatsu Mining, and the creation of sales pitch videos, scored by professional engineers. At the culminating event, students competed in on-site STEM challenges where one of our students, Gracelyn Raybuck, was a member of a top point-earning team. While they didn't take home a trophy, the experience provided invaluable hands-on practice in communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. Special thanks to Mrs. Megan Simpson and Mrs. Jessica Craig for sponsoring and leading this memorable experience for the fifth graders. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I add something to your report?
Yes.
One of our students, Kaylee Kirby, it was a graduate here of CL. She serves on the U.S. John P. Murtha, and she was part of the team to retrieve the articles that came down.
Oh, how cool is
And I
that?
saw some pictures the other day of her standing in front of the space capsule and stuff, so that's one of our former
Yes.
students. She's an engineer on the ship, so.
Very
so,
impressive.
yeah,
Good for
great
her.
honor for one of our students.
Okay, building representative?
I'm still waiting for price back, or not price, I mean, I'm waiting for the door company that came out with their door that's tied to that grant, to get back with me. I had communication from them about a week ago, and then I haven't heard anything back yet. So I think that, you know, as soon as I hear that, I'll share that out with the board. We had a grant for, let's say it's $114,000 or so, and that is a safety grant, and we are looking to replace doors at the high school. Some of the doors you can stick your fingers out through. So we had a company come out to look at how many doors could we replace for that $114,000. So that's what I'm waiting on. So,
Would that go up for bid, or how would that work?
I mean, if we use a company that is,
CoStar?
yeah, yeah. So, but at that price, yes, we'd have to have proposals for that, right? Over 24.5 it is.
Yep.
Oh, even if it's CoStar?
No.
Right. You know, you can get 2 or 3 companies that are CoStar, you can bid them.
Mhm.
Okay.
Just waiting to hear what they have. I mean, this company has been doing work in, you know, schools that I went and visited. You know, I
Right.
know it's quality work, but I just want to see what they have first, you know.
Okay, cafeteria representative?
Yep.
I said everything,
Okay.
unless you wanna hear me talk even more.
Okay. Okay, administrative reports, business managers report.
I don't really have a whole lot more to say other than from the budget. That was my big,
That's what she's focused on
Okay.
solely, so I can tell you that for a fact.
Okay, thanks. Okay, superintendent, administrative.
All right, I'll go first. You guys good with that? So we have a representative from ABM here again tonight, and I just wanted to take a second to talk about the fact that, you know, we've been working with the ABM for a year, and that as the superintendent, I certainly recognize that we need to take a strong look at our high school and see what we need to do to ensure that we have, you know, everything addressed. The problem I have as a superintendent also is that I'm not an engineer and whatever, you know, so we will need some guidance at some point from somebody that can do that, to ensure that, you know, we're able to, you know, we don't have something large go down like a boiler in the middle of winter and we can't have school, you know, that type of thing. And so I think that's the point I want to make is that I believe we're at a point where, you know, the board needs to give me some guidance on where do we go next. You know, not certainly right now tonight, but that's a conversation, you know, that we need to have something on and say, all right, where do we head for the high school? Do we do, you know, Giza type project? Do we work with, you know, a company like ABM? Do we work with, I can't think of the guy's name that'll make,
Psychological.
no, I'm not.
Dave,
No, I'm talking about the local guy that works with all the schools. I think-
Amos Rudolph.
Amos Rudolph, I'm drawing a blank on that, jeez, driving me nuts. So that's what we need now to look at, you know, what do we do, how do we plan for that? We're trying to transfer funds into capital reserves, but I do believe, even though I'm not an architect or engineer, that it will require more than the funds we're putting in there. So I just wanted to make sure we had that discussion, you know.
When's the roofs come in?
So, that's a good point. So I applied for $1.8 million in grants, you guys know that. We would know, I believe it's early September, that we'll know if we get that grant or not. And obviously, they won't be able to do it then, we'd have to wait till the next summer to get all that type of thing. But, you know, if we don't get that, we'll need to use some of the capital reserve the following summer to do the roof in the library first. I know for a fact that we have to do that, so. Right.
Okay, thank you.
Do we know what that particular project would cost?
We had that company, Trumco, that came out, did the other section. They said roughly, without the inflation issue, you know, of the products, materials, that's a stone roof, needs to be, the stones need to come off, you know, get back down to the insulation, you know, to make sure that the decking's good and we can just overlay the insulation or replace. But they told me it'd be roughly the same as we paid for the project last summer. I can't remember what it came in exactly, but I want to say it was below 160 in the end when it was all said and done. So I would guess somewhere around $175,000, which we could cover out of the capital, you know, projects. But
How bad is that roof?
that's what we've passed it and passed it again. I mean, it's not leaking right now, but you know.
Okay, number 9.
Oh, wait, can we wait 1 second, just let the guys give a little bit. Yep, sorry.
Go ahead, Peter.
PSSA testing begins next week in our elementary and middle school, so our staff has really been preparing hard and really extra hard the last couple weeks to get that final push in, so I'm confident that they've prepared them well. This year, if you haven't heard, I know we've talked about it, is all digital. They're doing it all from a Chromebook, so, and that's not just us, that's statewide. Pennsylvania PD has mandated that. It's been an option for the last several years. This year, they got rid of, there's no paper pencil option unless you have very special circumstances. Elementary, Mrs. Priest, our school counselor, is doing a PSSA pep rally Friday to just get the kids excited about it, motivated about it. You know, they do certain prizes if the kids are doing the things that they are taught to do, like highlighting and things like that. They get a chance at the prizes. Our academic decathlon team leaves next Wednesday for California. We sat down and finalized the final plans today with the budgeting and their fundraising and everything like that. I'm really looking forward to hearing the stories and seeing how well our kids do there at the national level. So we'll be in Anaheim for 4 days. They leave Wednesday, come back Saturday evening. So senior trip also leaves next week on Friday. We'll be in New York City Friday, Saturday, come back Sunday. Excited for that too. The kids will get to see a Broadway show, Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building, the 9/11 Memorial. So busy 3 days there. The end of the school, the senior end of the year schedule has been put out to the seniors and to the public, I believe. If it hasn't, it will be very soon. It has all the events of the seniors. That last week for the seniors, like they have to come in for the day to count. One of those events, they come in for graduation practice. They come in for senior awards day. They come in and do a walkthrough of the elementary building. So that schedule was made. I believe it's already been submitted or sent out to the seniors. We're interviewing for the math positions. We had 6 candidates. We're going to interview May 4th. We feel like we have 6 good candidates. We're going to interview all 6 of them to hopefully narrow it down and bring the board 2 or 3 candidates for a full board interview then.
When are you doing that again?
May 4th. We got a $20,000 supplemental equipment grant. We're going to be purchasing a laser/welder. As well, it's going to pay for part of our CNC router that we just got through a large portion of that came through the Student Run Manufacturing Grant, and 5 high-end computers as well to add to our clean room to do CAD design for the printers and the laser and the plasma cutter and the CNC router. So batting cages, we got them staked out up there. Huge thanks to Dubrook. They're going to donate all the concrete for it. And then Delta Contracting and Ace Concrete, they're donating the prep work and the stone and going to have it ready for basically our ag mech students are gonna then go up and start building, and then they're gonna help them pour the concrete and teach them a little bit while they're doing it too. So it's gonna be a really neat project. I'm excited. Not only are we getting a batting cage and those two businesses, as well as the Pittsburgh Pirates, contributing to that, but our kids are gonna learn a skill that they wouldn't have learned in the classroom, even in our shop. They're gonna learn about, pouring concrete and finishing and setting up I'm gonna go up and see if I can learn something while they're up there. But, so exciting about that. And the design lives here. I know Mrs. Shook talked about that. It was at the Clarion University. Our 5th graders attended. I went and was able to watch part of it. They had to build a contraption that carried ping pong balls down a zip line from one pole to another. And it was really neat seeing, and our kids were there with, there was probably 6, 7, 8 other school districts there. And they were mixed together, so our kids were working with a kid from Brookville, or a kid from Red Bank, or Clarion, or North Clarion. And they were put into groups, and they got to build these contraptions to the zip line down to see how many ping pong balls they could carry down. The more ping pong balls they carried down without falling out, the more points they got. So it was really neat to see. So thank you to our teachers who did that and gave them that opportunity. So.
I have one, our preliminary kindergarten registration, what was that number again?
I believe we're at 45 right now.
Tony, you have some?
I do. When we start initiatives, we hit it pretty hard, and they've been very successful. And one of the successes that I want to highlight tonight is at the elementary school. And we worked on this as a team. Mr. Johnston did a lot of the scheduling, and scheduling is a lot to make something like what I'm going to describe work. And that is the success of our inclusion program at the elementary school through the co-teaching model. I'm going to throw out a great example for you to just highlight how well it's doing. For example, we have 2 4th graders who started the school year at a 1st grade level, and now they're at 4th grade levels. That's 3 years of academic growth, and we're in April. It's unheard of, that kind of success. So if you're familiar with the former pull-out model, that's where special ed students would leave the regular ed classroom and they would go to a special ed classroom and be taught separately. Now we're doing a push-in model, where the special education teacher is going into the classrooms and paraprofessionals are going into the classrooms to help support instruction. It's being massively successful, and very proud of that. I'm very proud of all those teachers and paraprofessionals that are doing that work. They really care about kids, and they're awesome. Next, we have the Spring Fling will be coming up here very shortly. That will be at the Haskell House again. That's always a wonderful event. We'll be partnering with Clarion again for that. And we have the Track and Field Day coming up, where Mrs. Van Dyke will be with her class up at the concession stand for that. So they'll be serving beverages and snacks and things up there. Everybody's pretty familiar that this year was a special ed audit year for us, and I have a meeting with the state single point of contact, a person from Riverview Intermediate Unit 6, and also a person from Patton, which is a state organization. And they're coming in on April 28th to sit down with me, and we're going to go through that report, and we're going to create plans to implement the new initiations that we need to undertake. So, initiatives, I should say.
And John will share that with the board as soon as he sits down with them and goes over that, so you guys know right away what we're looking at. So.
Yep. That's all I have.
Is that it?
Yep. George, got anything?
I would say at the elementary school, one of our big initiatives that we're looking at putting in next year is our school-wide positive behavior intervention system. That's going to be a big undertaking. A team of teachers and myself have been working with an IU representative to essentially establish a positive behavior system that kind of takes all of the behavior stuff, all of the direct instruction, students, this is what we expect from you. So we're trying to make a cohesive program that goes K to 5 and rewards kids who are doing good and helps teach and remediate some of those behaviors in a very positive way. So that's our big thing for next year that we're looking towards.
Thank you. All right. Number 9, approval of the minutes. Motion to.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
No. Okay. Financial reports. I'm gonna do A, B, C, and D together.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Personnel, I'm gonna do A, B, C, and D all together. So, I motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I'd like to thank Mrs. Macbeth for her service to the district.
Yeah.
We will miss her.
Right. Yeah, thanks to Abby. Okay, and then, item E, I just, before we, approve our, hire our principals, I just want to say that I've had some complaints, not on you guys as a person, but on the amount of what we're gonna pay you, but I get it, but, I have some stuff written down here, but I know saying this, but we're gonna do away with, we don't have an assistant principal no more, and we don't have a dean of students. And Davey is gonna be, he'll be the head of the high school building, and Jordan will be the head of the elementary, and I know they'll do a really good job on it.
These salaries are still below the average for
Yeah.
the county.
Right, the salaries are still, that we're paying these guys are still below the county average, so, but other than that, I think you guys will do a good job for us. Okay, item E, consideration to hire David Eggleston Jr. as junior senior high school principal effective April 16, 26, at a prorated salary of $97,000 in accordance with the terms of the Act 93 administrative compensation plan.
So moved.
Second. Okay, roll call vote.
Can we say something before we vote?
Pardon?
Can we have a discussion?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I appreciate what Mr. Eggleston's done for us, stepping up when Mr. Sintopen was out and effectively doing the role of principal for no additional consideration. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you taking a contract that what Mr. Mogi said is below county average. I appreciate what you're doing. That's all I wanted to say.
Ready?
Yep, roll call vote.
Nathaniel Parker,
Yes.
Marty Selker,
Yes.
Gary Sproul,
Yes.
Bob Smith,
Yes.
Dave Eggleton,
Abstain.
Tom Walter,
Yes.
Jeff Myers,
Yes.
and Chris Mogus.
Yes.
Okay, consideration to hire Jordan Johnson as elementary school principal effective April 16, 26, as a prorated salary of $94,000 in accordance with the terms of the Act 93 administrative compensation plan.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
I want to thank you too, Jordan. Appreciate what you've done. I think you stepped up and been a part of the kind of de facto leadership team as a team of students. Really appreciate you stepping into that role and what you've done, and
Okay, roll call vote.
Nathaniel Parker,
Yes.
Marty Selker,
Yes.
Gary Scroll,
Yes.
Bob Smith,
Yes.
Dave Eggleton,
Yes.
Tom Walter,
Yes.
Jeff Myers,
Yes.
Chris Mogus.
Yes.
Okay, G, consideration to approve the following supplemental contracts for the 26-27 school year pending receipt of all required legal documents.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I'm gonna do H and I together. Consideration to approve the following volunteer for the 2025-26 school year pending receipt of all required legal documents. The names are there, and then I, consideration to approve the following volunteer for 26-27 school year pending receipt of all required legal documents. The names are there.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Do we know what sports the volunteers are gonna be with?
I believe those are volleyball volunteers.
Oh, these are all
That was the list of, yeah, that's the one we've received so far from the fall sports. The volleyball coach gave us all his paid assistants and volunteers.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, new business. Consideration to approve the purchase of shelving for the records retention room not to exceed $6,000 from the capital projects fund.
So moved.
Do we have
Second.
discussion?
These are the records that were in the basement before.
Yeah, we need to come into compliance.
Yeah.
So we're working on it now without the shelves, but they have to be stacked up. I mean, otherwise we just have them on top of each other.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I'm gonna do, B, C, and D together. Consideration to approve the academic decathlon team to attend the national competition in Garden Grove, California from April 22nd to 26. Then C, consideration to approve the formation of the coffee shop club bylaws and activity count of 084 as presented. And D, consideration to approve the 26-27 athletic participation fee of $50 per year, same as previous years.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
That participation fee, that's not per sport, is it? It's just per athlete, for the physical. Okay, good.
That coffee shop, what's it, is that? what-
That's the coffee shop that our life skills kids do. And
Oh, okay.
so they would make money and then it'd stay in the club, you know. If we buy the product, it has to come back into the general fund.
Yeah,
And so, you know, if the students buy through that club, they can build that up and do different things with
so
it.
they're gonna have their own.
But they're just a club for it,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay,
Yep.
good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, E, consideration to approve the 26-27 Clarion County Career Center total budget in the amount of $3,428,791.40. 25-26 total budget was $3,392,511.40. The operating share will be $245,409.85. 2025-26 operating share was $248,494.97 as presented.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Does that match what we had on our budget?
As Brian had said, as far as the Career Center, we didn't have it up nearly as high. They tend to overinflate the amount of students that are going to enroll. So we did it a conservative
budget's an estimate, their number's an estimate.
Okay.
What's
Yeah.
the number of students that they?
I think it was 34, I think, I wanna say it's 34.
That's high.
It's high.
Yeah.
So, but again, that will come back. That will come back to us when they reconcile that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I'm gonna do F, G, H. I together. Okay, consideration to approve the contract and service agreements from Independence Health Care to provide school physician, CRNP services at a rate of $15 per physical, pending receipt of all the required documents. G, consideration to accept the renewal of the school food service agreement with the nutrition group beginning of effective July 1st, 26 through June 30th, 27 as presented. H, consideration to approve and participate in the National School Breakfast Lunch Program, NSLP, through the nutrition. And I, consideration to provide all elementary and high school students with one free school breakfast and lunch per day for the 26-27 school year. Students purchasing additional meals will be charged a la carte prices and will be participants in the NSLP.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. J, consideration to accept the financial report with supplemental information for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025 as prepared by Brooks and Rhodes CPA, including the management discussion analysis as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I guess I'm gonna do K, L, M, and N. Together. Consideration to approve the local advisory committee listed below and the March 2026 meeting minutes as presented. L, consideration to approve the operational advisory committee listed below and the March 2026 meeting minutes as presented. And M, consideration to approve use of facility agreements for Jefferson Clarion Head Start Incorporated on Thursday, June 18th, 2026 in the elementary cafeteria for pre-K resignation. And consideration to approve the first reading of the following policies as presented. Have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Real quick, Bob, I just wanna make a suggestion maybe for next meeting,
Yeah,
cause I think we have 20 policies on here.
yeah.
Something we ran into at the Career Center.
Went
We
on
had,
for months.
we had 20, 30, 40 policies each month, and board members really didn't have time to review all of them. So we ended up capping it at 10, to do just 10 policies a month.
Okay, yep. So we'll bring a second reading back, 10 of them, and then we'll do the second reading for the other 10 a month after that.
Okay, but I just wanted to
Okay,
make a
yep,
suggestion.
yep,
In the future.
yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, consideration to accept the resignation of school director Julia Pando effective March 28th, 26. Have a motion to approve.
We're waiting for you, Marty.
discussion. I'd just like to thank Julia for her commitment and dedication for her years of service here and on the IU board too, so. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're gonna interview now for the Region 3 Mill Creek and Jefferson County School Board Director candidate, and his name's Kyle Wilson. So,
Just gonna run through, just like we did last time, if I can find it. What interested you in joining the school board?
Multiple children that have attended and multiple that will be attending and one that is attending currently. I figured it best if I put my hat in so that, I could try to help improve their experience here at the school. If at all possible, so.
All right, what background or experiences would you bring that could be helpful in serving on the board?
I've been through, well, in my own experience, I've been through multiple forms of schooling. I've done private school, homeschooling, public school, vo-tech school. And I figured my experiences with those and what I encountered, what I thought worked, what I thought didn't work might be at least good to suggest, good to add into the discussions.
Okay. How would you approach a situation where board members strongly disagreed on an issue?
Hear them out, very least see what the differences might be, see if we can find some kind of a compromise. There's always some level of compromise to be done.
Okay. And do you have any questions, anything else you wanted to ask us?
No, sir.
Any other board members have anything?
yeah, Kyle, are you a machinist by trade?
Welder, fabrication,
Have you ever been through our shops down here?
I have not been through your shops down here.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you run lathes and stuff like that?
I do not run lathes, but I deal with a lot of, I've dealt with a lot of different fabrication processes, so.
3D printing?
Oh, yeah, 3D printing, I've got a laser at home that I operate every now and again. So I have some knowledge as far as CNC, things of that nature, so.
Can you outweld Brian?
Find out.
I have no doubt. I know Davey's pretty good.
It'll beat me up.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Kyle. Okay, now, one step forward on.
You better vote on it. You better vote on it first.
Oh, yeah, we go. Okay. Go
Make a
ahead.
motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Raise your right hand. Okay, I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support and obey
that I will support and obey
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
of this Commonwealth,
of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge
and that I will discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Thank you. Have a seat.
Here.
Any old business? Okay, and then I have an executive session announcement, March 18th. We had an executive session to discuss bus contract, 7:30 PM. And can I have a motion to adjourn?
You had another executive for your interviews, buddy. Did you?
On Monday.
On Monday, the 13th.
Yeah.
We had interviews on Monday the 13th at 6 PM.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, Monday the 13th, we had interviews, that's right, 6 PM, so. Yeah, go ahead.
in your folders, you'll see a thing that says Burger Daddy. part of the sales for that, that's a half day, and Ashley Means, our school nurse, worked on bringing this in. You know, teachers are interested in eating from it on that half day, but part of the sales go to raising money for the playground that we're working on. So we want to invite board members out if you're interested that day, you know, if you're free.
What time is it?
Is it on?
It's not free
It
lunch.
says during lunch.
Huh?
It's not free lunch.
During lunch.
Okay.
So, noon, dear, noon.
I don't know if my wife will be away.
You might have to,